The cattle have been grazing on our hayfield for just over a month now, and while there's still quite a bit of grass left for them to eat out here, today it's time to move them off of it for a little while.
There are a couple of reasons why we need to move them from the hayfield to other areas. The first is we need to separate our bull from our cows for the winter. And the second thing is tomorrow starts a very short rifle season for Kevin, and we need to get the cows away from there so that they are safe.
Tomorrow is the first of 3 or 4 different rifle seasons for deer hunting here in this part of Missouri. It is an antlerless season, so it's a season where you can shoot only does or young bucks that don't yet have antlers. So one of the places that I really want to hunt is across our hayfield. I have 2 different areas that I can hunt over our hayfield, but I don't want the cows to be in the way, or, you know, God forbid that I would accidentally shoot one of them when I'm taking a shot at a deer. So I need them off the hayfield just for the next 3 days.
So in today's video, we are going to bring you along as we move the cows from kind of place to place. It will actually be a several day project in order to get them from one place to a next, and ultimately they will end up back in here in the hayfield after this short rifle season is over.
So let's jump in the UTV. We need to go to the back side of the hayfield. That's going to be the first move, is getting them just to the other side of the hayfield fence. So this is the gate here that we need to move the cows through today. You can see right here is one of my tree stands. So this paddock that we're going to be moving them in today, they can't stay in either. We need to get them out of there by the end of the day today as well. Basically, this paddock on the other side of the fence there wraps all the way around our hayfield, and on the other side would be in a direct line of where I might shoot a deer. In fact, that's where I've shot quite a few deer, is kind of across the hayfield here. So even though the cattle are going to be excited to be over on this other area here, by the end of the day, we need to ultimately get them off of there and move them to a paddock where I know I won't hunt, where I won't be doing any shooting over the next 3 days. Let me climb up into my tree stand and I will get some footage of you from up there so that you can better understand what I'm trying to talk about.
Well, it sounds like the cows heard us talking, so they're going to start gathering around here, which is good. It'll give them all time to get together and get excited about moving somewhere. They've been wanting to move somewhere for weeks. They have got plenty of grass here. They're actually doing a really good job eating down the hayfield, but they need to get back here after we're all done. So Kevin's gonna get up in his tree stand so we can get this going while the cows are probably gonna be excited to move.
So here is the view from up in my tree stand. You can see it's a pretty good vantage point over a lot of the hayfield. So what I'm talking about as far as getting the cattle to move today is, so they're in the hayfield right now, which is here. We need to get them over to this paddock over here. But this paddock wraps all the way around to that far side of the hayfield over there. And if they're over there, I can't always see them. And if a deer were to come into the hayfield and I were to shoot the deer over there, there's a good chance that there could be cattle behind the deer. So we need to get them out of there by the end of the day today. So this is going to be the first of at least 2 moves today. Let's get the gate opened up and see if they are willing to move on their own. All right, well, it looks like everybody is anxious to move, so I'm going to just open this gate and get out of their way, because when they get excited, even though they're very friendly cattle, they're big animals and they could hurt you even if they don't want to or don't mean to. So I'm just gonna open this gate and get out of their way. All right, cows, go on. Go on. All right, well that was easy enough. They see green grass, and like the saying goes, the grass is always greener on the other side. In this case, it actually is. Well, it's been about 4 or 5 hours since we made that first move with the cattle, and it's time to try to move them again before evening gets here, because I want to get them out of that area that they're in, because I really don't want them to mess with the deer that are back in that area before hunting starts tomorrow morning. So we're over in an area that we call the government pond lot, and we call it that because it has this pond here. And back in the 50s, there was a big drought in the Ozarks, and the government came around and dug ponds for everybody to help keep their livestock alive. So everybody in this area has one of these government ponds on their property, or at least a lot of people do. So this is the government pond lot.
This lot connects with the lot where the cows are right now. There is a gate way in the back corner. We can see some of the cows over there, like on the other side of the fence. So hopefully it won't take too much encouraging for them to come over here and think that there is something even more wonderful for them over here. Hopefully it goes smoothly and quickly.
The real truth is there's not a whole lot of grass in this section right now. So they'll only be over here for probably about a day before we move them again. But let's jump in the UTV, drive all the way to the back, and see if we can call them. Hopefully they'll be motivated enough to come to us just calling them. So you can see now we're in the back, and they are all right there on the other side of the fence. We need them to basically follow this fence line over here, and where that little cedar tree is right there, there's a gate right there, and that's where we need them to go through. So let's walk over to the gate, and I'll try calling them from there, and we'll see if they'll come. Come on, cows! Come on, cows! They're coming.
Come on, cows! Come on!
We need to watch Watson. It almost looked like he was limping.
Come on, cows! Come on!
Come on! All you got to do is get one moving, and then they all follow along. Well, all the cows, all the steers, all the calves, they all made it. But Watson, our bull, he decided to just stop right there and watch everybody else on the other side of the fence. Our old bull Tex used to do exactly the same thing. He finally came through the gate, and honestly it only took about 5 minutes, so that wasn't too bad. Our old bull sometimes would take several hours before he'd finally come through the gate. And you're not going to get a bull to move if he doesn't want to move, so that was good. All right, let's go shut the gate so they're trapped in this paddock. Now on our homestead, when we use the word gate, it's kind of a loose term. This gate is just a cattle panel. But you know what? The cattle have never gotten through this, at least not since we've lived here. So this cattle panel has probably been used as a gate for as long as I've been alive. So all we do is we just wire it to this fence here. And to be honest, cattle really, as long as they've got all of their needs being met, they rarely try to get through a gate or through a fence. This will be plenty to hold them over where they need to be. So, all right, so this area where they're at now, like I said earlier, doesn't have a ton of grass. It definitely has a couple days worth of grass. So we'll move them either tomorrow or the day after, depending on how busy I am during hunting season. Well, it's been a couple days since the last time that we moved the cows. We were hoping to move them yesterday, but it was Sunday and we got busy with church and everything else, so we didn't move them yesterday. So today, they absolutely need to move. Right now, they are over on this side of our driveway in the government pond lot where we moved them last. And today we're going to move them over here to what we call the dairy pasture.
A couple things that we need to do before we can move the cows over. The first thing we need to do is check all the fencing and make sure the electric wire is still working right. We need to move the Energizer from one side to the other, and we also need to move Babe into the barn lot so that she's kind of out of the craziness. So we've got some things to do before we can call the cows over. They may hear us and be excited to move, so they may come to the gate on this side wanting to move, but we will see. Either way, we'll call them, and I know that they're anxious to move.
So let's jump in the UTV, go check all the fence real quick, make sure everything is set. We can move Babe, our dairy cow, up to the barn lot, and then we can move the whole herd across the driveway. Now our ultimate goal for today is to get Watson, our bull, separated from the herd. That's really what we're trying to accomplish more than anything today. We're going to separate Watson and we're going to separate one of our steers to stay with him. Cattle really do better in groups, so by at least putting a steer in with him, he won't feel lonely and he won't try as hard to get back with the herd. The pen that we have built for him, he can't get out of anyway. We have electric wire around the top and it's a sturdy built pen, but we still want him to not be lonely because he'll be in there now until whenever we're ready to rebreed Babe, our dairy cow, which will probably be somewhere around February or so. So that's our goal for today. Oh, hunting season is over. It ended yesterday, last night. Again, it was just a 3-day quick little season. I wish I had some good news for you, but I didn't get anything. In fact, I barely saw any deer all weekend. You guys, we had the hottest weekend for this time of year on record in our area. All 3 days of hunting season, it was getting up into the 90s during the day. And when that happens, the deer, they just don't come out during daylight hours. They only come out after dark. And so it was not a very successful hunting season, but there's several more. I know I'm going to get plenty of deer this winter, and I'm excited about that. All right, let's jump on the UTV and go fix this fence.
Before we start checking fences, I'm going to see if I can get our dairy cow Babe up to the barn lot without feed. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go grab some feed to entice her to get up to the barn lot, but we'll see if she'll follow us. Come on, girl. Come on. Come on. Good girl. Come on. Come on, babe. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. Come on. Well, that part's done. Let's go check fences.
Well, we did find a section of the fence that is knocked down. Now this is actually pretty common for this fence to get knocked down, especially right now when we haven't had this hooked up to electric for a while, because when deer try to jump over the old fence like this, a lot of times they'll knock the electric wire off of these poles. So this one just came out of the clip, so that's an easy fix. We just need to put it back in the clip like that. But this one down here, it looks like the actual pole came out of the ground, so let's go put that one back up too. All right, so this pole fell over, so we'll put that back. Now, it looks honestly like maybe a branch fell off and knocked this one down, but should be good now. This is why you come along and check before you move cattle into a certain area. Now, the whole reason we have this fence here like this is because our old fence behind here isn't in the best shape anymore. It's not terrible, but it's just not great. By running a strand of electric on the inside like this, it prevents the cattle from even going over there to try to test that fence. By running electric like this, the other nice thing is it saves you all the time and money of having to run literally like miles of this actual fencing, the permanent fencing. So this is a cheap, easy, fast way to, you know, kind of keep your old fences going without having to completely redo them. All right, so I think this was the only section. We'll take a drive around and we'll look, but other than that, I think this was the only section. We'll go over and we'll start getting ready to move the cattle.
Connected to our bullpen here is actually another kind of electric fence that divides this dairy lot into two sections so that we can concentrate the cows on one side to eat down the grass, and then once the grass is eaten down, we can move them to the other side, which allows the first side to grow back in between. So we're going to be checking this center divide fence as well. One thing that happens, especially this time of year when we don't have this fence electrified, is that when the deer come through and hop this or they can run right through it or hop it, and it gets kind of tangled up. In that situation, a lot of times the wire gets disconnected from the clips when the deer kind of futz with it, and then this kind of becomes all wonky. So we're gonna double check and make sure that these clips are all connected with the wire and that everything is looking good so that when we turn on the Energizer, everything is energized and it looks good. But so far, this center divider looks really good.
All right, so this is the Energizer we're going to move. The cows are over here now, so we're just going to move it over to where they are, or where they're going. This is a solar powered Energizer. We've got a couple of these, a couple different brands, but we don't have enough for every paddock because these things are expensive. They're about $300 a piece. So since we don't always need them in every paddock, we just kind of move them around as we need them. So let's go hook this one up on the other side. I'm also going to grab my electric fence tester so that we can test the fence in several different spots and make sure everything is good and charged up. All right, well, we're over here on the other side of the driveway where the solar Energizer is going to go. I'm just going to put it here on this T-post. I like that these stick on a T-post. You can have them up off the ground. That way ants and stuff don't get up inside of them. We've had that issue in the past. So these are really easy to set up. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your green lead here. That goes to a grounding pole, which I already have in the ground here. And then your red lead is going to go onto the fence. It's always important to have these facing south if you can, so that you get the most amount of sun to keep this charged up. And then we're just going to turn it on, give it a few seconds, and it will start energizing this fence. All right, so I got my tester. Let's go ahead and test this and see. Looks like we're getting about 8,000 volts, so that's pretty darn good. There can't be much interfering with this. So we'll also test it inside the bullpen when we go over there. And if that's all looking good, then we are ready to go. Well, behind me here is our bullpen. We built this bullpen last year about this same time. This is where we will keep Watson over the winter. He'll probably be here for probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months tops. Then he'll move back in with our dairy cow, Babe, so that he can breed her before, and then early next summer, he'll go back in with these girls and breed all of these guys all over again. So he's kind of a multi-use animal here on the homestead. He serves a lot of purposes for us. But, so this bullpen is about 80 by 100 feet. So it's a decent sized pen for him. It's not enough grass in there to keep him just solely on grass. We will need to start feeding him hay probably within the next week or two once he gets this all eaten down. We are going to move a steer in with him today as well. And that steer is actually, we're going to be weaning from its mom. So that could be kind of interesting. It's not always easy to separate those from their moms, especially in a big paddock like this, but we're going to give it our best try. So I've already turned his water on. He's got everything that he needs in there. I'm going to test his electric fence. Looks like it's about 8,000 volts, so that's good. Let me test the bottom strand here. About 8,000 volts as well. So this will be perfect for him until he's ready to do his next job, which will be move in with Babe, our dairy cow. All right, time to finally move the cattle. Let me show you kind of our rigged system that we use here to move them. Basically what we do is, so we need to move them just basically across the driveway here. So we kind of turn this into a little alley right here. We do that by parking the UTV here. And then I've got an old broken gate that I leave over here. Not good for much other than this anymore, but it's good for this. So I'll put this here. And they don't really try to get out of here. So this doesn't have to be a really well-built system here. So we just lean that like that. And then on this side over here, you can see that we use the gate from this side of the driveway, and then this green gate actually will open out and these connect, and it makes an alley that they can come straight across. So it's an easy system. I think it's going to be an easy move. You can see that they're pretty motivated to come across. So I'm going to get this all opened up and then we'll get them moving. Now one thing we noticed just a minute ago is our bull, Watson, is limping, and we don't really know why. So we need to watch him as he comes across here. My guess is this: it's black walnut season right now, and the area that they were just in has a lot of black walnut trees. And my guess is that he probably twisted his ankle on a black walnut. So chances are, once we get him into his pen and he can just kind of chill out in there for a while, it'll just resolve on its own. But if it's not better in a few days, we'll have to load him in the trailer and take him to the vet and see what's going on. I'm hoping that's not the case, because it's always stressful to move cattle around. We could probably get the vet to come out here, but they have all the special stuff right there at the vet's office. It would be better to take him there. All right, so let's get this all opened up. We'll get them moving across the road, and then later today, we'll actually try to get him into his pen. came back out, it's been a couple hours, we came back out to try to lure everybody into the bullpen so that we could then get everybody out that doesn't need to be in there. And I brought a bucket of cattle cubes, which you can see these guys want. But when we came out, we were really lucky because Watson had already gone into the bullpen. So we quick swung the gate shut to trap him in there. And so that part was really easy. It's like he knew what his job was for the day. Now the hard part's going to be, we still have that steer who is out here in the pasture with everybody else. And then we need to get that steer in with Watson as well. And that's going to be the hard part because we need to not only get him in there, but we need to separate him from his mom too. So we'll see how this next part goes. We're going to have to open the gate back up. Hopefully Watson doesn't come out. I'm going to try to lure him away with some cubes and get him down into a corner first. And then we'll open the gate and see what happens. Hopefully, the best case scenario is almost everybody goes in there. And as soon as we see that steer go in there, we can shut the gate and then kick everybody back out except for that steer. That's what I'm hoping we can do. All right, let's first go give Watson these pellets. Come here, Watson. Come here, buddy. Not you. Your name's not Watson. Here, just a few to keep you guys happy. Come here, Watson. All right.
Hold on, let me.
Sarah's going to work the gate, and I am going to try to get everybody in here. Come on, cows. Now, as soon as that steer's in, shut it.
This one here.
Okay, he's in.
All right.
All right, so the steer and his mom and a lot of other cows are all in there. So we're going to see what we can do now. We're going to let them settle down for a minute and leave all of those cubes in there so that they can eat those cubes. Once the cubes are gone and everybody starts kind of mingling around a little bit, then we'll start letting people back out. Cows back out, not people. All right, everybody's kind of settled down. We're going to try to get everybody except for Watson and that steer out of here. We've got the camera set up where I hope you guys can see okay, but from here on out, it's really more about us staying safe than it is about getting the best video. So I hope you'll understand that we just need to make sure we're safe and nobody gets hurt or worse by trying to kind of get everybody back out of here. So let's work and let's see if we can get this done.
Come on. Come on, Light Nose. Come on.
Go on, Mama. Go on. Do we want to leave him in here?
That's Cletus.
Right.
Yes? Maybe you can get Peppermint out. Go on, girl.
There we go.
That's BJ.
All right.
Let's see if we can get Whiteface out.
All right, Whiteface, let's go. Here we go. Come on. Whiteface out. Cindy. Come on, Cindy. Let's go. There we go.
Good girl.
All right. Who wants to go next?
Watson.
14? No, that's Cletus.
14 is Cletus. Hold on, Peppermint wants to go. Are you okay with her going?
I guess.
The reason we're worried about Peppermint going now is the steer we want to stay in here is her calf. And that means that her calf will want to get out by her, and she may want to get back in with him. So.
But that's okay. I mean, that at some point today that needed to happen because he's the one that we need to wean. So she needs to be out and he needs to be in.
Right. Both these girls can go.
Yep.
Oop. Sheesh. Go away.
Okay.
Go away. Go away.
2 more, right? 3 more.
It's not time for scratches.
No, 2 more.
All right.
All right, one
Got
more.
one left.
Open the gate.
It is. All right, that's it. That's it. We
That's
got 'em all.
everybody. All right, mission accomplished.
That is awesome.
So we have Watson, the steer that we're weaning, and then an older steer that will be actually being sold here soon. And all three of them can stay in here, and everybody else is fine out here for a day or two before we kind of rotate them back through to the hayfield.
It's really nice that over time we have been able to spend quite a bit of time with this beef herd. They're not really afraid of us. Even the newer calves over time, they realize that we're not going to hurt them. We're not going to stir them up and make them super crazy. So when they're in a situation like this, everybody can remain calm and come in and out as we need it. And it is really a blessing to have these amazing cows who the original herd have been here for decades.
When we bought this farm, we actually bought the cattle with the farm, the original herd. Now we've replaced several. A lot of these were born here from our other bull a couple years ago, but they're still kind of a core of the herd, the older cows that were from the original herd here on the property.
Well, the calves learn a lot from their mamas too, not
Right.
to be afraid. So that is very helpful.
Right, and because all of these have been here their entire lives, they know where the gates are, they know kind of the routine for moving everybody
Right.
around, and that makes things really, really nice.
Well, while these cows are so motivated to follow for pellets, we are going to try to do one more move. Now, again, we're in the dairy lot here, and our dairy lot is separated into two paddocks. The paddock where we're standing right here, where the cows are now, there's really not a whole lot of grass here, and we want to keep the grass that is here for Babe, our dairy cow. So we are going to see if these cows are motivated enough to follow us through the gate to the second part of the dairy lot, where we saw actually quite a bit of grass. We'd like for them to eat that down before we move them back over into the hayfield. So we're going to try to do that now, see if they'll follow us, because that will be the next move for them.
All right, I've got another bucket of pellets. It looks like they're motivated to get over here. So we're going to undo this gate.
Watch it. No, no, no.
Remember earlier I told you guys around here the term gate is kind of a loosely used term? Well, this is an electric fence gate. It just is a couple strands of electric wire that separates these two paddocks. So I'm going to walk with the bucket, and Sarah will undo this final strand, and I think they're going to really wanting to come follow me. So let's...
Hold on.
Come on, cows! Come on, cows! Well, that is a job well done. A few days worth of moving, but you guys, we moved them from the hayfield to the back area, to the government pond lot, across the driveway into the dairy lot, and that's where they are now, on the far side of the dairy lot.
From here, now in a couple days, we will be moving them into the bottom land area. And from there, in a couple days after that, we'll move them back to the hayfield so they can continue eating down the hay.
If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll also enjoy the video that we did just a while back where we talked about why we're having the cows graze in our hayfield instead of baling it for hay.
Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.